Summary of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. The play starts with Julius Caesar's triumphant return to Rome after beating his rival, Pompey. It's also the Roman holiday of Lupercal, which is held every year. During the party, a seer tells Caesar, "Beware the idea of march." Caesar quickly ignores this sign. In the meantime, Cassius tries to convince Brutus that Caesar's ambitions are dangerous. Brutus says that he loves Caesar, but he doesn't want Caesar to be king. He wants the best for Rome more than anything else. After the Lupercal race, Casca tells them that Antony offered Caesar a crown 3 times, but Caesar turned it down each time. Even though Casca thinks that each time Caesar turned it down, he looked less sure of himself. Cassius and Brutus agree to talk later. Cassius plans to send fake letters to Brutus that say Caesar's plans are bad. Later, there are scary signs like rockets, earthquakes, lions, and owls all over the streets of Rome. Cassius convinces Casca that the omens are signs that Caesar is about to become a dictator, so he joins the plot. Since Cassius told him about the plot, Brutus hasn't been able to sleep. He talks himself into thinking that killing Caesar is the best thing for Rome. He reads a letter from an unknown person asking him to redress unsaid wrongs done to Rome. Then Cassius and the other plotters show up. Brutus is still more concerned with doing the right thing than with getting ahead. He becomes the leader of the plan when he refuses to include Cicero and to kill Antony, who is close to Caesar. After the plotters split up, Brutus's wife, Portia, asks him to tell her what's going on. She says that because she's his wife and Cato's daughter, she's stronger than most women. She's even cut herself in the thigh to show that she can be trusted. Brutus tells her that he will tell her more later. At the same time, Caesar also can't sleep. Calpurnia has dreamt that Caesar will be killed, so she begs him not to go to the capital that day. Even though he was warned and told something scary, Caesar decides to go anyway. He needs to show that he is strong. When the plotter Decius shows up, he confirms Caesar's choice by putting a good spin on Calpurnia's bloody dream and telling Caesar that the Senate will crown him that day. At the Senate, there are a lot of people trying different things to either warn Caesar or help the rebels. Inside the capital, the plotters kneel down in front of Caesar and argue that Metellus Cimber's brother should be sent away. They use this as a chance to kill Caesar with their own hands. When Caesar says, "You, too, Brutus," he dies. As a sign of Rome's sudden liberty from dictatorship, the conspirators dip their hands and weapons in Caesar's blood. Antony comes in, seems to make peace with the rebels, and convinces Brutus to let him talk at Caesar's funeral, even though Cassius is suspicious of him. After the others leave, Antony says that Caesar's angry spirit will cause a bloody civil war, and he starts to plan with Caesar's nephew and heir, Octavius. At Caesar's funeral, Brutus tries to get the people to understand that Caesar had to be killed for Rome's sake. At first, they yell that they agree. When Antony talks to the people, though, he gives an intense speech in which he talks about how much he misses Caesar and, unfortunately, praises Brutus for being honorable. By the time he finishes his speech by reading Caesar's will, Brutus and Cassius have already left the city because the people are ready to revolt. Later, Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus, who are all part of the Second Triumvirate, make plans for war and decide whether or not to kill other participants. In their own army camp, Brutus and Cassius argue about how stubborn Brutus is about his beliefs and how practical Cassius is. After insulting each other and Cassius's dramatic request that Brutus kill him, the two end up getting along again. Brutus says he is angry because he heard about Portia's suicide. She ate hot coals to kill herself because she thought Brutus wouldn't be able to beat Antony and Octavius. Brutus's argument that their army should go on the attack and march to Philippi to face the troops of Antony and Octavius is accepted. That night, Caesar's ghost first shows up to Brutus and tells him that they'll see each other again at Philippi. The chiefs make fun of each other on the battlefield. Later, Brutus and Cassius said their goodbyes. Cassius was now wary of signs, and Brutus said that his stoic views would keep him from killing himself no matter what happened. As the fight rages on, Brutus sends Cassius's troops to attack Octavius's weak ones before its time. This gives Antony's troops a chance to beat them. Cassius kills himself because of bad signs and a quick guess about the result of the fight. When Brutus hears this, he thinks that Caesar's ghost is getting back at the rebels for what they did wrong, but he still plans to finish the fight. Later, when Brutus is on the run from the enemy, he finally kills himself with his own sword. He does this because he thinks it's just for killing Caesar. Antony says that Brutus was the noblest Roman of them all when he finds his body and makes plans for a proper burial for him before going to celebrate his army's win.
About the author. William Shakespeare was the son of John Shakespeare, a wealthy leatherworker, and Mary Arden, a well-known farmer's daughter. Shakespeare's schooling only extended as far as the elementary school level. In 1582, he married Anne Hathaway, and the two of them had 3 kids. Around 1590, Shakespeare left his family and went to London, where he worked as an actor and wrote plays. Shakespeare was an instant hit. He quickly became the most famous writer of his time and a part owner of the Globe Theatre. In 1603, King James gave his acting group the name the King's Men. Shakespeare moved to Stratford-upon-Avon in 1613, when he was wealthy and well-known. He died there 3 years later. Shakespeare wrote 39 plays and more than 150 works. To this day, he is still the most well-known and respected writer in the English language.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.